What's good, everybody? It's your girl French Vanilla here, and today I'm going to be learning Turkey region guessing for 1 hour in Geoguessr. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay. We've got a roof that's red. We've got a hill, so maybe it's like an agriculture meta, but I think it was zoomed in somewhere here, so maybe it might be like whatever like sticker is on this like metal pole, like this yellow sign or this black sign down here. It could be the telephone number, like maybe the area code indicates a certain area. I'll go near Ankara to start and we'll see where we are. Okay, we were further south, so this was a square water tanks meta. So square water tanks with angled corners are found in the south, approximately from Iskenderun to Sanliurfa. Okay. Square water tanks. Don't see any square water tanks. Okay. We do see this pole that is like kind of got like, you know, like the laddered steps on it. We were zoomed in somewhere down here though, so it might be like a roof meta, or maybe it's like the agriculture, like whatever plant is like, you know, being grown on this like sloped kind of a downhill. I'll go near Kastamonu and we'll see where we are. Okay, further east, so these were tea plantations. So it was an agriculture meta, so tea plantations are common in the province of Rize. Okay, which is like up here. Okay, we have kind of like rounded poles, maybe it's concrete. The tops of the poles, there's like 3 coils on the top, okay. We have truck down here, house with a roof. I don't know if the meta is going to be like, maybe it's architecture this time instead of agriculture, because I don't really see like a plant being grown consistently everywhere. So we'll go near Balıkesir and we'll see where we are. Okay, we were further south. So this was Bodrum architecture. So around the city of Bodrum, you will commonly find this type of whitewashed buildings with flat roofs, often combined with blue or light pink details or unpainted stone walls. Okay. All right, well, we're in front of a pile of gravel, which I assume is not the meta. The meta is probably something to do with, like, maybe this, like, spire that is in the back. Like, I assume it's part of some sort of, like, maybe, like, religious building or something. We do have kind of, like, the gray back of the truck with the 2 coils. I'm thinking that maybe we're more on the eastern side of Turkey, so I'm going to go near Erzurum. Okay, I think that was my best guess so far. This was a spherical water tank meta. Okay, so I didn't notice the water tank, but that is something I should look at because the first one was like the square water tank. So light spherical water tanks can be found in the southeast, mainly south of Batman. Okay. Oh, okay, well, very foggy. So I feel like maybe it's gonna be a specific road meta, you know, with like the specific coverage. Yellow outer, long yellow middle. Would I even go Turkey here, low-key, if I didn't know I was playing like a Turkey region guessing map? I don't know. Like, maybe I'd go like Chile or something. But, yeah, I don't know the specific road. I feel like it has to do with like the weather or the road. We'll go near Batal Gazi and we'll see where we are. Okay, we're closer to Izmit, so this was road with extreme fog. So this road with extreme fog and yellow lines can be seen southeast of Izmit. Okay. Well, we got 2.3 thousand there, so definitely room to improve, so let's keep learning. Okay, we're close to a sign and it says Armutlu on it, so I think probably telling us like what city we're nearby, but I don't think that's going to be in the meta. I feel like the meta is probably going to be like whatever is like on the hill, you know, whatever's being grown there. It might be a wind turbine meta because I see a bunch of wind turbines over here, and I know a couple of countries have different like wind turbine metas. Like, I think Thailand is one of them, but okay, I'm thinking wind turbines, potentially the agriculture of whatever's being grown on the hill. Very kind of like tan hills, but with some vegetation. I'll go near Sivas. Okay, we're actually way further west. So yellow and black chevrons. So yellow and black chevrons are mainly found in and around the Balıkesir province in the west and in the Kars province in the far east. Beware that you may very rarely find them elsewhere. Okay, so kind of like on the extremes, the sides of Turkey. Okay, yellow and black chevron. All right, we have the flag up there. Okay, we have a police car, which maybe it's like something to do with the police car because we're facing it, but it could also have to do with like whatever's on top of this building here, which is maybe the satellite dish. I don't see. Okay, is that a water tank? I don't think that's a water tank. Okay, that is a circular water tank, right? That's not cubular, but then which one of these is the water tank? I mean, these are a whole bunch of things on top of the building. Like, I feel like it's circular, so maybe it's more further near Margine, was in the south. It was the square water tanks? Okay. I didn't know which of like the things on top of the building were the water tanks, but I did at least identify that it might have been a water tank meta, so I'm kind of like getting an idea of like what to look for in these like Turkey region guessing rounds, so that's a little bit of an improvement. So square water tanks with angled corners are found in the south, approximately from Iskenderun to Sanliurfa. Okay. We are facing a roof, so I feel like it has something to do with like the style of roof, or maybe this like bucket that's on the top of the roof. We have kind of like the gray back of the truck, a little bit of the one singular antenna, a little bit of like that ladder pole kind of a thing going. We're facing this, so it's like a tin roof, right? So maybe I want to go closer to Erzincan. Not horrible. I think we were definitely on like the right half of Turkey, so metal roofs are most common in the east. Note that for this and the other roof-related tips to be reliable, the majority of all visible roofs should be preferably of that type. Okay, so there might be like a one-off roof that is like a different material than others. Okay, we're facing a doner kebab shop, and we have an area code here, so maybe it's an area code meta. Seems like we're in a pretty big city. No part of the truck really like visible, because I think this blurs from like the front car, unless, oh wait, no. This is the gray front of the truck visible. Okay, I think I just like saw the car in front and saw this, and I was like, oh, I can't see any of the truck. But it kind of blended in a little bit with like the blur low key. Okay, fairly big city. Not tin roofs, right? Looks more like tiled. So we'll go closer to like Istanbul. Okay, no, we were all the way further east, closer to cars, but this is a phone code meta. Okay, so let me take a minute to kind of like look at all these phone codes. So phone codes in Turkey, Turkish area codes follow a fairly easy to learn pattern and can be very useful to get the general region. Most notably, the first digit of area codes are ordered from 2 in the west to 4 in the east. Okay, we've got 2 on the left, 3 in the middle, 4 in the right. And there are like second and third numbers to the area codes, but I feel like just getting the general idea will help me to get better, because I definitely can't remember all of these like within this one like video. So 2, 3, 4 from left to right. Okay, 2, 3, 4. It might take me a couple tries to get that right, but there's only 3 numbers, so hopefully I should get like a general vibe. We have a lot of rocks kind of lining the side of the road, which is super interesting that they're kind of like stacked this way. We have these, I think this is like metal roof, right? So I'm thinking more eastern for sure. I think the meta is going to be these rocks on the side of the road, because that is not something I've seen before in Turkey. I'll go closer to Oltu and we'll see if this is close. Okay, we were further south, and these are actually volcanic rocks, which I didn't know that there are a lot of volcanic rocks in Turkey, so learning something new for sure. So Turkey volcanic rocks. Dark volcanic rocks are commonly found between the cities of Sanliurfa and Diyarbakir. Okay. All right, let's keep going. We have this pole top I think we're facing, like maybe this is the meta. So we've got 3 arms sticking out, and it's a little bit of a rusted metal, so maybe it's the triple arm on the pole here. The roofs are more tiled, I think, than metal. So I'll go close to Bursa. But let me look at the water tanks first to see if I can see any like square water tanks or circular water tanks. A bunch of satellite dishes. That seems circular. Is that doesn't look like square like. Yeah, I think I'll go here. Okay, we're closer to the center, so this was a Nevşehir province building. So many buildings in the Nevşehir province are built by large, light, and unevenly covered sandstone bricks. Okay. Yeah, these are different color bricks. Okay, so I can see that, and that's kind of like in this region in the middle, kind of like where it says like the Turkey name. Ooh, we've had this meta, so this should be hopefully easier to remember. It's definitely somewhere in this side, close to Izmit ever. I think it was like somewhere up here. It was like somewhere in like the northwest. I'm gonna go here near Izmit. All right, perfect, amazing. 4.5. Definitely our best like singular round we've had so far because I think it was like the first repeat that I remembered. So road with extreme fog. This road with extreme fog and yellow lines can be seen southeast of Izmit. Okay, so just like a little bit further southeast, but 4.5 is a really, really good score for one round. Okay, spinning around, looking around, a little bit of like a gray / white front of the car. No, wait, back of the car because we're on the right side available or visible. And then we have this bollard here, the red, of course, turkey bollard. We have trees kind of dotted over the hills all around us. Okay. The color of the sky feels like a little bit muted, like it doesn't feel very bright. I think, I can't tell. The roof material, I feel like it's maybe more tiled than metal, but it's kind of hard to tell because we're kind of like faced directly at it. So I don't really have a good vantage point of seeing like, you know, like the tops of the roofs. I think that I will go close to Dursunby because I feel like maybe we're more on the western side of Turkey. Okay, no. This was the square water tank meta again, so I failed to recognize it again. These square water tanks with angled corners are commonly found in the south, approximately from Iskenderun to Sanliurfa. Okay. And kind of here. Okay. White outer, double white middle, white dashed in the center. Okay, so no metas that I can recognize, like no building metas, not like pole tops or anything. Maybe I think this is a metal roof like on the corner of this like sloped building, but I'm not entirely sure. These are very beautiful mountains though. I've never seen these mountains before. Where would I go? Maybe like somewhere over here near Ispir, but I think it's gonna be like a vegetation / road meta. Okay, not bad. So these were the river cliff valleys. So river valleys surrounded by steep, barren, and rocky cliff sides can be found near the cities of Erzurum and Artvin, and in the southeast near the city of Hakkari. Okay, so kind of in two areas, which are like up here and then also down here. Okay, river cliff valleys. That makes sense. Okay, this is kind of like the opposite. We have this like really snowy mountain, which I did not know that there were snowy mountains in Turkey. So we're definitely like learning more about the overall like variety of like areas that can be in Turkey. We definitely have some sort of like, you know, plantation or farmland of something being grown, but obviously it's like off season because these trees are dead. Snowy mountains, I feel like are probably going to be closer to like, is it the southern border or maybe up here? Like, I feel like it's going to be more up here, so I'll go near Safsat. Okay, well, we are clear on the other side of Turkey, but that is okay because we're learning. So, Turkish vineyards. So, a majority of all vineyards in Turkey can be found in a region east of Izmir. Okay. All right, well, we got 8.6 thousand, so that is definitely improvement from our first two rounds. Let's keep learning. Okay, rocky, like, cliff of this, like, mountain, cliffside, but we have, like, an interesting, like, pattern. Like, I wonder if it was, like, carved by, like, in, like, a river or water, how it got this kind of, like, you know, line pattern on the side. Okay, I think this might be a river valley again, just, like, looking at all the mountains and stuff around us, potentially. I don't see any like water tanks, so I don't think it's like a water tank meta. Don't really know any pull top metas. So if I think it's a river valley, there's one down here and then there's like one I was like up here. So I'll go the one up here near Erzurum because I think that is the one that I more clearly remember. Okay, I will definitely take that. So I correctly identified that it was one of the two river cliff valleys. I could have guessed a little bit more north because it seems like the river cliff valley in the north is north of Erzurum. But river valleys are surrounded by steep, barren, and rocky cliff sides and can be found between the cities of Erzurum and Artvin in the southeast near the city of Hakkari. Okay. We're near water, so we're definitely on the coast. I see like city names on the sign, but I don't want to like use that because I feel like the point is to like, you know, learn like the metas or whatever, not just like find like the information of the city. But I think the coastline is definitely gonna be probably part of the meta here. Maybe like the foggy mountains in the back. So, okay, which coast do I think I'm on? The north coast or the south coast? Maybe this feels more like down here. I'll go near Alanya and we'll see where we are because there's like mountains and stuff here, right? So maybe mountains nearby and the water right there. Okay, well, we were a lot further east, so I was incorrect there. This is Lake Van. So Lake Van is by far the biggest lake in Turkey and has a semi-arid landscape being surrounded by dry grassy hills and occasional trees and agricultural fields near the shore. Okay. Okay, very like green, hilly, not as much vegetation on these hills. There's this like interesting like pole on the side of the road. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if snow poles, probably not for this area, right? Or like what the indication means, like this pole with like the white, the black, the orange, and then the black and white again. It's probably some sort of vegetation metal. Like I feel like this hillside is probably very like recognizable. I don't think it's going to be like near the river valley up here. So maybe I'll go more like in the middle near Tuncelli. Okay, we were actually like a lot further northeast than I thought. So this was the Northeast Hills meta. So in the northeast, you'll find uncultivated grasslands and valleys surrounded by round hills. Trees are very limited in the region. In Gen 3, the area has an extremely distinct look with deep green grass covering the hills. It's significantly more difficult to recognize in Gen 4, where the grass has a more arid look. Some of the Gen 4 truck coverage is greener since it was also taken in the spring. Okay. Okay, we have a little bit of the gray back of the truck. We see a lot of houses with roofs. So what is this telling me? I think they're metal. The water tanks I think are circular here. Like I can't tell if it's like square. You know, I think these are circular though, if that is even the water tank here. I feel like I need to see a picture of like the two shapes of the water tanks if there's only two side by side because it is a little bit hard to tell. But we have the gray back of the truck, we have the coil, the metal roofs. I'm gonna go near Batman. Okay, we were a little bit more northeast near the Lake Van. So pyramid metal roofs. So sheet metal roofs shaped like low pyramids are mainly found far east, particularly in the general area surrounding Lake Van. Okay. So not the worst guess in the world, but not the best guess either. Okay, we have these hills, so the only hill meta I think I've learned so far is the one that's like up here, kind of near Kars, like near the border with like Georgia and Armenia. So I think I'll go up here, the Northeast Hills meta is my guess, but it could be like a different region of Turkey's like hill meta. Okay. You know what? I'm so cooking. So Northeast Hills, we did get it right. So in the Northeast, you'll find uncultivated grasslands and valleys surrounded by round hills. Trees are very limited in the region. In Gen 3, the area has an extremely distinct look with deep green grass covering the hills. It is significantly more difficult to recognize in Gen 4, where the grass has a more arid look. Okay, and I recognized it, and I was able to get the general area, so definitely our best score yet. We've got 9.4k overall. I'm going to play this map one more time, and then we'll move on to the second map. Okay, we have a road, which is maybe like a specific like highway or something we have here, kind of like winding through these like forested hills. I do see a taxi, so maybe like the taxi is a meta here. Like maybe there's different like colored taxis near different big cities, but I don't unfortunately know any. We're in some sort of like hilly highway. Okay. Don't think I've learned this meta yet because there's no like buildings and no water tanks or whatever in sight. So let's go near some place we haven't really guessed, like Emir Dog, and we'll see where we are. Okay, this was a Turkish pines meta. So Turkish pines, Pinus brutia, are mainly found near the Mediterranean coast. Note, Turkish pines can appear very similar to Aleppo pines, which are uncommon in Turkey but are often found in other Mediterranean countries. Okay, so it was a vegetation meta. I have not gotten many vegetation metas so far, so this is the one we can hopefully remember. Turkish pines kind of near the coast. Okay. Nope, Turkish pines, I think. We do have these roofs, so is this the pyramid, like, sheet roof? Is that what this is here? And then, like, the valley. I'm, like, low-key. It could be. So, let's go near Haybelly. Okay, no. But this was a river cliff valley. So, this is the other river cliff valley. We've gotten the one in the north twice, but not the one that's down here. So, River Valley is surrounded by steep and rocky cliff sides, and then this one is the one that's closer to Uzunku. Okay. We've got some hills over here. Not like a lot of like forest or something on the hills. Okay. We are near water. Is this ever Lake Van again, or is this like a coast? I'm like low-key thinking maybe it's like a lake. I don't know if this is Lake Van because I think this is a different location than we had in the last Lake Van location. But I think it's like some sort of body of water. So I'm going to go here near Lake Van. All right. Perfect. Amazing. So we did recognize that it was Lake Van. So Lake Van is by far the biggest lake in Turkey and has a semi-arid landscape, being surrounded by dry grassy hills and occasional trees and agricultural fields near the shore. Okay. Okay, this is not a meta we've had so far, but maybe it's like the pole top. So we have like kind of like 3 rectangular bars on the top there. We have someone pushing a cart, rusted metal pole, car. Any of the truck visible, not on the back or the front. Maybe it's like the pattern of like the road, like this kind of like almost like a bow tie shape, you know, to like these in the road. What do I think? Oh, maybe it's like a water tank meta. These are round, right? These are not square-like. Although, I'm questioning if I know like what a square is because like, is this a water tank in the back? I don't know. You know, we'll go down here kind of near Dosimielti because I feel like this is like a round water tank, but every time I've thought it was a round water tank, it was like a square one. So let's see if that is correct. Nope, these were flat roofs. So I don't think that was like the square water tank, but anyways, new meta. So flat roofs are mostly found in the southeast and to a lesser extent along the south coast. Okay. We are in some sort of city. We have area codes. Okay. So I think the 242. So I'm pretty sure it's like 2, 3, 4 from left to right. 2, 3, 4. So most western is 2. I don't have any of the second digits memorized because I just learned it. But yeah, okay. It looks like we do have 2 over here as well. So I definitely want to guess on like the this third of the country here. So maybe I'll go near Bursa. Okay. You know what? Honestly, I'll take it. Like we were in the right like third of the country, but the opposite side, so it's like a pretty okay region guess, but we definitely could have done better. So Turkish area codes following a fairly easy to learn pattern, and we have like the 2s, the 3s, and then the 4s. Okay. All right, well, we got 7.5K there. Not bad. Let's move on to the second map. All right, next up we have an RMRG learnable Turkey region guessing. All right, we have a trash bin here, which I can't read like the Bella DSC or anything on it. We have a archway here that has information on it, but I don't know. I'm thinking potentially it's like one of the metal trash bin metas. Like, I think in Turkey, a lot of the metal trash bins have like the city name or the belediyesi, which I don't have like any memorized. But there are ways to memorize them. So, fairly big city. What kind of roofs do we have, or like water tanks do we have visible? I don't really see any like water tanks, and the roof over here is not any of the roof patterns I know. Let's just go like vibes wise. I think like vibes wise, I'm gonna go near like Gebze. Okay, well, the complete opposite side of the country, but that is okay. So this was a cultural Kurds meta. So Kurds are an Iranic ethnic group that populate much of southeastern Turkey. In some of the most Kurdish provinces such as Mardin, Sirnak, Hakkari, or Diyarbakir, you can occasionally find signage in Kurdish. Okay. Oh, so this is like language/culture meta. Okay, so Kurdish bilingual road signs are particularly common in Diyarbakir and less so in Mardin. The Kurdish language is identified by the presence of circumflex accents, like the E with like the little hat and the I with a little hat, as well as letters that Turkish lacks, such as Q, W, and X. Okay. Okay, I did not notice the bilingual sign, but that's definitely something that I can look for in the future if we get, this location or similar location again with the Kurdish language, and then that's kind of like near this coast here, okay? Or not this coast, sorry, this border. This is definitely some sort of pine meta, right? Is this a Turkish pine, or is this... I think Aleppo was like the other kind of pine that it mentioned in the thing. Where were the Turkish pines? I think they were along the coast, like near the Mediterranean, right? So maybe I go near Kumluka. Okay. You know what? I'm happy that I recognize the meta, even though I didn't get like a really good score there. So this was a Turkish pine. So Turkish pine is perhaps the most difficult pine species to identify in Turkey. It tends to have a less dense crown, which is like kind of like, and brighter needles than other pines. The bark can be brown and can sometimes have a red tinge, but there is no stark contrast between the bottom and top sections of the trunk, as there is with Scots pine. It is mainly found along the south and west coast. Okay. We identified the right meta though, so I will take that dub even though it was only 300 points. We have a sign here. Okay, we kind of have hills, like the tiled roofs, okay. We have huge building in the back, which I think is some sort of religious building maybe. This is definitely a water tank. It's definitely a round water tank, right? Not the square one, so I'm thinking... Well, I was gonna say I was thinking over here, but I feel like the tiled roofs are more found over here. But the white and blue, I feel like maybe that is the meta as well. Like, did we learn like a white and blue city meta? I feel like it's like indicative of a certain city. I'll go near Tokat because I'm not really sure if we're like in the east or the west. I'm going kind of close to the middle. Okay, not horrible. We were near Kayseri, so we got 1.4 there. So Mount Erciyes is the second tallest volcano in Turkey after Mount Ararat. It is located south of the city of Kayseri, where it can be seen for some distance, and is particularly identifiable for the numerous volcanic ridges and sub-peaks surrounding the main peak, which is usually not visible. Okay, so this was a landscape volcano meta, which I didn't really know that was a volcano, but that is good to know, and hopefully we can remember that near Kayseri. Okay. All right, we have big truck blurb. We have gray with the little antenna in the back. We have mountains with snow. Okay, mountains with snow. Some sort of plant being grown here, which I don't know what this plant is over here. Mountains with snow. I feel like there's mountains with snow up here, but then also in the south. So I'm like, maybe I go near Diyarbakir. And we'll see where we are. Okay, we could have gotten closer there, but it wasn't horrible. So I think this is actually a new meta. So Erzincan Plain. So Erzincan is situated in a relatively narrow plain with particularly high mountains on both sides, with high peaks to the northeast and the southeast. The valley has also a moderate amount of tree cover, with black poplars and willows being common. Okay. Erzincan Plain. This is definitely a volcanic area, right? Like that's a volcano. Like low-key, is there like something coming out of the volcano, or the clouds just like really low and I'm like unsure. But this looks like volcanic rock. We have the gray back of the truck with a coil. Rocks all around us, kind of like a sloped area with grass. Okay, so there's 2 volcanoes, right? Or there were like 2 ones that we've learned so far, but I low-key don't remember where both of them are. Is there one like here? I'll go near north of Adana near Imamoglu and we'll see where we are, but it's definitely a volcano meta. Okay, we were a lot further northeast. This was the Turkey landscape Ararat. So Mount Ararat is the tallest peak in Turkey and is the tallest in the Middle East outside Iran. It is particularly recognizable as it also has a prominent secondary peak called Masis. I did see the multiple peaks, okay. It is situated near the Armenian border on the border between Agri, its Turkish name, province, and Igdir province. Okay. All right, we got 3.3K. Let's keep going. Potentially some sort of roof meta. Okay, like maybe roof material. Potentially whatever is here on the side of the road. Pull tops, 3 coils. That seems pretty consistent with like a lot of the pull tops, but it could be a pull top meta. A bus stop. A water tank, which is circular, I think. So could be a water tank meta. I'm thinking more Eastern because of the water tanks, but then like, the tile is confusing too. Maybe I'll go near Malatya and we'll see where it is. Holy guacamole. Okay. Well, I mean, okay. Mind blown. This is not a meta I've learned. This was kind of just like me vibing it. So maybe like when I think less about it and I do more vibes with like this meta learning, I do better. But anyways, this is a landscape Malatya meta. So north of the city of Malatya is a relatively large flat agricultural area, which can look very uncharacteristic for the east. Most of Turkey's apricots are grown here, so recognizing apricot trees can help. Otherwise, you may be able to see dry mountains from the area, which should indicate you're in Malatya rather than other fruit-producing regions. Okay. Whoa. This is beautiful. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, we have like the snowy mountains to our left. We kind of have these like forested tree-covered hills to our right. And we're on this like winding road between like the mountains and the hill. This is just so beautiful. Yeah, I really like this area, which is not like relevant to the meta learning, but okay, snowy mountains. So I know one of the mountains is like up here. So I'll go near Hanak and we'll see where we are, but it could be a different mountain range as well. Okay, no, this was the Medetsi's Tepe. So Medetsi's Tepe is one of the highest massifs. I don't know what a massif is. I'm going to throw up a definition of massif on the screen because I don't know what it is in the current time, but me editing this video will help y'all to learn it with me if you didn't already know. So forming a fairly long, roughly east-west ridge, which is visible from a stretch of the D750, which I'm assuming is a road, and some remote villages and mountain roads as a wall of snow-capped mountains to the south. Okay, Medetsi's Tepe. We have white outer, long white middle, pole with like the yellow sticker on it. Okay. We have a little bit of like a red and white pattern of like bricks and like, you know, the side of the road. So I feel like that is unique to a lot of the locations I've seen so far. So potentially it's whatever this like color pattern is in the side of the road. No part of the truck visible there. No part of the truck visible here. Okay, so we got kind of like full blur on the truck. I mean, I don't think we've had this location slash meta so far. So I think just vibes wise, like I'll go near Yalvak. Okay, honestly, I don't know how I'm cooking so far with these like vibe guessing because I'm doing better than when I actually think about it for a long time. But anyways, so vegetation, cherries. So cherries are mainly produced in 3 distinct areas: the Kamal Pasa Valley just east of Izmir, the Sultan Dagi Valley stretching south to Oxahir and the Bursa Valley, just northeast of Bursa City, where it grows alongside many other fruit. Cherries can be recognized in spring by pink cherry blossoms, in summer by their short trunks and tall branches with long droopy leaves, and in summer by their short trunks and tall branches with long droopy leaves. Okay. Okay, we have yellow and white brick on the side of the road, which I haven't learned any of these like pattern metas yet, but maybe that is something, although I have noticed it. So water tanks, I think they're circular up here on the left. We are in a big mountain and we're in like some sort of like sloped road. A lot of like solar panels on the top. Okay. This is an interesting tree. I don't know if it's like a Turkish pine exactly, but I am noticing like another mountain in the back. So it could be like a tree meta. It could be like a Turkish pine meta. It could be like a mountain meta because we have a mountain in the both sides of like where we're looking at. And I think this might be like snowy question mark. Like I'm not entirely sure because like the sky is kind of like blending into the mountains here. So I don't know if that's like really affecting like me thinking that there's like snow on it or not. But we have Turkish pines potentially. I'll go near Tokat and we'll see where we are. I don't have like a strong feeling on this, but I think this is a new location, so potentially a new meta. Okay, no, we were a lot further southwest. That is okay. So this was Architecture El Mali. So one noteworthy cluster of wood-framed houses outside the northwest is in the El Mali Valley in Antalya province. Here the frames are notably intricate with many small beams packed together and 8 beams meeting at one point, rare in the NW, which I don't know what NW means. I guess it just means northwest, but we're here in El Mali. Okay. We're kind of zoomed in here, but I think it's kind of trying to maybe show us like the outer lines. So we have yellow outer road lines and also white outer road lines and then white dash middle. Okay. Red roofs and yellow paint. Okay, 2 and 1 on the coils on the top of the pole. This one is just like 3 across, but not uneven like that one. Interesting water tank, I think. We've got kind of like the spire in the back. Okay. It could be vegetation, like whatever is being grown in these rows over here. I think it might be the spire though. That is kind of like my guess. That's like the most like standout feature of this location. I'll go near Kutaya and we'll see where we are. Okay, no, this was a bollard meta, so infrastructure Samsun. So it doesn't say Samsun on this picture though, so I'm not sure exactly what that means, but Samsun is up here in the north. All right, 9,000, not bad. We're gonna play this map one more time and then we'll move on to the third map. All right, we've got yellow outer. We've got very hilly valley here. Ooh, this is a big, big city. Okay, so many buildings in the back and very tall as well. Kind of like wired gates. We have a bunch of, I think these are Turkish pines, right? So Turkish pines are closer to the coast. Maybe I'll go near Bayagak. No, this was the Erciyes landscape. So Mount Erciyes. Oh, I think I actually have had this location, okay, but I just didn't recognize it. So Mount Erciyes is the second tallest volcano in Turkey after Mount Ararat. It is located south of the city of Kayseri, where it can be seen for some distance, and is particularly identifiable for the numerous volcanic ridges and subpeaks surrounding the main peak, which is usually not visible. Okay. All right, I mean, we have a bollard here, but I don't see anything like particular about it that I recognize. So yellow outer, long yellow middle. We have these interesting pole tops, so like the 3 arms kind of like in the middle top, and then like at the top we have 3 coils sticking upwards. We have kind of like these like forested hills on the side of us. Is that ever like a terraced hill? Like are there like lines of, you know, something being grown on the side of the hill? I think I'll go up here near Bolu. I don't have like a strong feeling about this particular round, but maybe it's like just like the landscape, like something to do with that. Okay, this was an infrastructure meta and it's IDing. So I think maybe there's something to know about like all the different like bollards, like maybe it's like the symbols on the bollards or something like that, or the particular like, you know, words that are on here, but not very visible in this picture. That is okay. IDing is down here. Let's keep going. Okay, we're on a road. We have a little bit of a transformer here. Kind of looks like vaguely red, like the front of the car, but I don't think it is red. Low-key, I don't know if I'd go Turkey here if I didn't know it was Turkey. But we have these like really tall trees, which I don't think any of them are like the pine, like the Turkish pine that we learned already. I'll go near Tavas and we'll see where we are, because I think it's going to be like either a vegetation with like the very like leafy trees that we have around us or a particular road. Okay, we were a lot further north. So this was a landscape meta, so Stranza. So Stranza is a hill range on the Bulgarian border in the northern part of European Turkey. It consists of low but very green hills. However, it can be extremely difficult to tell apart from other parts of North Turkey. Besides a general European forest vibe, other clues for Stranza are small empty grass clearings by the roadside, young cottonwood plantations, and yellow bollards, which, whilst not exclusive to Kirk Lorelli, are common here while very rare in the rest of the country. Okay. That kind of makes sense, because I was low-key thinking, like, I don't know if I'd go Turkey there, but, like, maybe somewhere in Europe, but that makes sense why it's by the Bulgarian border. Okay, this is definitely a volcano. Which of the volcanoes is it? I do not know. But there are multiple volcanoes. Maybe I will go near Savkoy? Okay. Not horrible, but not great. So another important volcano is Hasan Dağ, southeast of the city of Aksaray. Wow, I didn't know that there were so many volcanoes in Turkey. I'm gonna actually throw up a number on the screen of how many volcanoes, or, you know, a number-ish if it's like not an exact number, there are in Turkey, because I did not know that there were so many. So unlike RCS, it is a more clear cone volcano, and due to the dryness of the Aksaray province, its peak is more likely to be visible, and we were able to see it. Okay, so Hasan Dağ volcano close to Aksaray. Okay. Okay, well, we have a huge sign here, which I feel like that's not going to be the meta, because I mean, like, if I was in No Move or Moving, of course, like, I would use that to like find these exact cities, but I'm gonna guess that it's probably like a vegetation meta, like something to do with these like hills in the back, potentially this bollard with like a little bit of a symbol on it, but I can't see it super clearly. The circular sign has like 2 words on it, but I don't know what they say. So if we're going just based on vibes and not scanning for like the city that's on that sign, let's go near Afyonkarahisar. Okay, we were a lot closer to Bigali. So Turkey infrastructure, Gallipoli sign. So the Gallipoli Peninsula, the European part of the Kanakkale province, is famous for the World War I battles fought between the Anzac forces of the British Empire and the Ottoman Empire. You will often find unique yellow and brown road signs here indicating tourist sites. There is also ample trekker coverage of the military cemeteries here, so if you get a cemetery trekker, go Gallipoli. Okay, I didn't know that there was a cemetery trekker in Turkey. Maybe I should do a video with like trekkers or something like that, because I definitely don't know too many. Okay, we're gonna move on to the third map and see if we can learn any more metas. Last but not least, we have the Major Turkey map. All right. Looking around, we have a lot of red roofs. Water tank is circular, not square. Okay. Maybe it's an area code thing, but it doesn't start with a 2, 3, or 4, so I don't know if that is correct. Some sort of thing over here. This like purple trash bin, maybe it's like a trash bin, something to do with the Bella DSC on this trash bin, or this purple one beside it. A taxi cab of some sort, okay. What are the colors of the stripes? It's like red, white, and black, which I'm like, does that mean we're near like the border with like a different country? Because red, white, and black, I mean, red and white are on the Turkey flag, but I don't know what the black stripe would mean. Yeah, the numbers over here start with like a 5, so it's not like the area codes like a 2, 3, 4, unless there is an area with 5 that I don't know about. Maybe it's like the circular things on the top. I don't really know. I'm kind of just vibing like more southwest, so I'll go near Isparta. Okay, this is a water tank vertical meta. So vertical water tanks can be found in most of Turkey, so pretty much all over, but are notably uncommon along the south and west coast. Okay, so vertical water tank more likely near the center or near the east. Okay. This is a vertical water tank technically, or is this one like the square one kind of like down here under it? We have this. Okay, this is definitely feeling more squarular than like the other water tanks. I mean, there's like 10 examples of it around me, so if I don't get it by now, this feels like a very clear example of these square-ish water tanks, which I think are more common in the southwest. So I'll go near Dosmayalti and we'll see where we are. Okay, not the square or the circular water tanks, so this one was different. So this was octagonal, which like I could have counted the sides, but like I think I just saw it was like angular and assumed it was a square, but yeah, I definitely could have counted the 8 sides and gotten this, but I wouldn't have known the region, so that is okay. Square water tanks with angled corners are found in the south, approximately from Iskenderun to Sanlurfa. Actually, I think, are the square and the octagonal tanks like the same? Like, I think I keep saying square this whole time, but I don't know if it actually said square the very first time I learned it. Like, I think that's always been octagonal. I don't know, but we'll try to remember that. Octagonal tanks, Sanlurfa. Okay. We have cacti? Or cacti-like leaves? I don't know what fruit this is growing out of this, but 5 coils on the top of the pole. Okay. Very tall plant. Kind of like very foggy. Like I can't see any hills in the back. Can't see any volcanoes or any like forests or anything. This is confusing me. Like I'm like cactus, but it's like Turkey, you know? Maybe closer to the southeast border. Like I'll go near Katak. Okay, no, we were actually way further west. So this was a architecture flat roof meta. So flat roofs are mostly found in the southeast and to a lesser extent along the south coast. Okay. Holy, like, circular water tank, like spherical. Like this is not just like a circle, it's like a sphere, you know? That's like a bigly water tank. Okay. Gray back of the truck with the coil, which I think is more common in the east. But the spherical water tank, I feel like this is for sure going to be the meta. I'll go near Bingol. Okay, we were a little bit further south near Mardin. So, infrastructure, water tank, spherical. So, white spherical water tanks can be found in the southeast, mainly south of Batman. Okay. Smiley faces on those pots, turkey flag. Maybe like a little coffee shop over here. Okay. This is like an interesting pull top shape, but I feel like we've learned like 0 pull top metas in Turkey so far, so I don't know if that's going to be the most helpful. We do have yellow in the middle of the lines, which is interesting, and we do have these like tall palms. Okay. Are there any bilingual signs? I don't think so, but I do see like these numbers starting with 2. So 2 is making me think this third of the country. And white and blue. Okay, white and blue. I mean, maybe white and blue is, it's like indicative of a certain area, right? Kayseri, maybe? I feel like the white and blue architecture is like a certain city. No. Oh, is Bodrum? Okay, so Bodrum architecture. So around the city of Bodrum, you'll commonly find this type of whitewash buildings with flat roofs, often combined with blue details or unpainted stone walls. Okay, So I recognize like the blue and white pattern was like part of a certain city, but I didn't remember specifically which city, which is okay because we're learning. All right, 2.5K, obviously a lot of room to grow, so we're going to keep learning. All right, we have, wow, a beautiful field of sunflowers. Like, this is like the most amount of sunflowers I've seen in like one area ever, I think. More sunflowers around us. Okay, over here. Very hilly, very sunflower meta for sure. I don't know where the sunflower meta is because we haven't learned it yet, but this is very beautiful. Love to see it. I'll go near Ovachiksuyu and we'll see where we are. Okay. I think I guessed in a really good area actually because, okay, so agriculture sunflower meta, mainly found in northwestern Turkey, but it kind of looks like the pattern or like the areas where sunflowers are most common are along this whole northern part. So, I mean, I'll definitely take 2.9K. That is very good. Okay, hotel. We're in some sort of like big city. Do we have multiple languages on the signs? This is like a very busy, like, you know, market/street area. Turkey flag, of course, okay. It could be like this sign. Okay, so it might be like the color pattern. It might be like maybe like the symbol with like the numbers on it on the bottom right. So I'm thinking this might be the meta because we haven't had a lot of like city meta so far in this Turkey region guessing. It's been mostly like agricultural, which I've kind of liked actually because a few of them are like really memorable, like the one really foggy road. Maybe like a number, like a phone number we should look for if it's visible anywhere. I can't really see what the number is on that sign. Actually, don't know if I can see any like phone numbers from where I am looking around. Okay, I guess we'll just have to go based on vibe. So, big city, I think I'll just go like Istanbul. I mean, I don't know if this is like the best guess, but I think it's gonna be something to do with like either like the street sign meta here or like maybe it's like a phone number that I'm not able to see. Oh, okay, so maybe it was a good guess actually. So it was an infrastructure street sign Istanbul meta, and we guessed in the right city, of course. We got 4.964, which is like a very good score, and I think the best one we've had in this whole video so far. So red street signs with a colored bottom strip are found in several cities, but in the bottom right corner you can find a white arrow and some numbers. So if the arrow is pointing in both directions and has a single arrowhead rather than double, you're most certainly in Istanbul. Beware that simple arrows pointing in only one direction can be found in both Istanbul and other cities. However, if you see such signs in combination with these red house numbers, then you should be in Istanbul. Okay. Big hill in the back. Okay, this is like the first time I think we've actually seen like the Turkey stop sign in maybe any of the locations, but this is like the Turkish word for stop. So if you see this on the stop sign, you know you're in Turkey. Double white middle. We have an interesting pattern on the side of this building. It's like yellow with like these red triangles, but this part is like white completely. A little bit of a rusted pole. Okay. The meta is probably whatever is being grown in here. Like this is like some sort of like greenhouse type thing, you know, with plants like being covered. I don't know what plant it is though, but I think we'll probably learn after I guess. So hilly place where like a lot of some sort of plant is being grown. I'll go near Tokat. Okay, we were a lot further south. So this was an agricultural greenhouse meta. So if you find yourself surrounded by greenhouses, you're likely to be along the south coast west of Adana. Okay. We have some sort of sign here, which is blue and white, and it has singular arrows pointing both directions. Okay. Istanbul, they said it was like a red sign meta with an arrow pointing in both directions, but we have blue and white on this like spire. They have like mint green, like kind of like orange and white on the pattern like side of the houses. So I mean, it's most likely having to do with this like sign here, right? But I feel like the blue and white is making me think Bodrum, right? That's where like the blue and white like colors were, I think, last time with the architecture. Okay, no. We're actually closer to Ankara, but this was a street sign Ankara meta, so I guess this is the Ankara province, not Ankara, just like the city. So street signs in the Ankara province are blue with a small round top. Similar street signs can very rarely be found in Giresun, but it looks like Ankara is here, and where is Giresun? Okay, I had to look it up because I couldn't find it, but Giresun is all the way here on the northern coast. So street signs, blue with a small round top. Oh, I do see like a little bump on the top. Okay, so Ankara or Giresun, which is up here. Okay. Okay, taking in everything around me. We've got chickens. We've got metal trash bin with a Bella Diassi on it. Hello, chickens. Hello, trash bin. Water tank, which is like circular. Okay. This, I don't know what that is, but that is a chicken. But this is a chicken. There's so many chickens around me. Maybe it's like a chicken meta. I feel like I've never seen so many like chickens in any of these locations so far. And those are cows, I think. Just kind of like roaming around. We have a lot of like buildings made of like, you know, like concrete / brick / whatever. Golden Hill. But like a very green like farmland in the back. This is some sort of pine, right? Is this ever a Turkish pine? Perhaps, mayhaps. Very flat roofs. Okay, flat roof. Making me think southwest, I think. I'll go near Corcatelli. Okay, no, we were further east. So this was a architecture metal roof meta. So metal roofs are most common in the east. Okay. I'm going to play this map one more time and see how many more metas I can learn and what I remember from the other metas I've learned so far. Okay, this is definitely very unique. This like yellow diamond that's kind of like in the middle of like, you know, the road pattern. So that is probably going to be the meta here because I can see it like all the way down the road. So it's probably indicative of like one specific city. We have a very interesting pole here. I feel like I haven't seen this pole a lot today and like all the different like areas in Turkey I've seen, but it has like, you know, kind of like an archway like hole in each part of the pole. So the yellow diamonds I'm guessing are the meta here, and we have a vertical. Okay, vertical is not along the south coast here, but it's more like middle or east. So maybe we'll just go near like Tuncelli. Okay, so we correctly identified that it was a vertical water tank. So vertical water tanks can be found in most of Turkey, but are notably uncommon along the south and west coasts. Okay. Metal trash bin, okay. Kind of like different color brick on this house. Okay, there was some sort of architecture meta we learned with like the different colored like white and yellow like sandstone or whatever on the outside of the building. I don't remember exactly where though. A little bit of like a hill / mountain in the back, okay. I think it's gonna be like whatever like, you know, like sandstone makes up this building is like the meta, or maybe it's like the hill in the back. I will go near Elazig. Okay, well, I'll take recognizing that it was a sandstone meta, like with the architecture type, but this was actually in the Nevşehir province, which is closer to the center, so many buildings in the Nevşehir province are built by large, light, and unevenly colored sandstone bricks. Okay. So we did recognize, like, the meta, but we didn't know, like, where the meta was, but I guess, like, that is something at least, so we're at least learning something, even if it's not exact. Okay, we have a stop sign. Right now I'm looking for like area codes maybe, or like, you know, like the phone numbers. He says 0534, which I'm like, we learned 234, but nothing with a 5. So maybe only like certain shops or something have like the area codes outside of it. Do we have any street signs like with like the red or blue? Not really. What are the roofs saying? These are kind of like more like apartment buildings, so I don't know if they're gonna have the same like roof style that I'm like looking for, like from like the roof metas we've learned so far. I think this is like a circular water tank, right? But not vertical, horizontal. I see a little bit of a spire in the back. I'll go near Caesarea. I don't really have a strong feeling here, but I feel like maybe like the vertical water tanks or like even like the circular water tanks more common in the central to east, so we'll go here. Okay, nope, this was way further southwest. So water tank horizontal on top of vertical. So horizontal water tanks placed on top of vertical water tanks are primarily found in a line following the south coast and going up to Ilazig. Okay. Limon. Okay. Two, 5, 2. Okay, so the 2s are more likely in this third of the country, so I'm gonna put in here Antalya for now. I do see a lot of like the puffy, I think Turkish pine, so making me think along the coast, so I feel like good about guessing near Antalya, because I think the Turkish pines were closer to like the Mediterranean Sea. So I think I will. Ooh, white and blue. The white and blue on this building, though, making me think maybe more Bodrum. Potentially? Okay. This is an amazing score. We love it. 4.7. So, Bodrum architecture. So, around the city of Bodrum, you'll commonly find this type of whitewashed buildings with flat roofs, often combined with blue details or unpainted stone walls. Okay. Love it. I'm glad I switched to Bodrum at the last second and I saw that building with the white and blue because I wasn't going near Bodrum before. We are definitely in some sort of like valley between like the rocks and stuff. I feel like one of the river valleys was like up here in the northeast, but is this one of the river valleys or is this just some sort of like rocky area? It doesn't look like the northeast river valley. Like, do I ever want to go to the one that was like down here? Like, I'll go near Gulyazi because I feel like it's some sort of like big rocky mountainous area, but I'm not sure exactly where. So we'll go here near Gulyazi and we'll see where we are. Okay, I'm actually really happy with that. So we got 3.3 thousand there. So it was Landscape Cliff Valley. And I did recognize that it wasn't like the northeast one that I've gotten a couple of times before. So river valleys surrounded by steep, barren, and rocky cliffsides can be found between the cities of Erzurum and Artvin and in the southeast near the city of Hakkari. Okay. All right, you know what? 9,000, I will definitely take that. That is progress, especially considering how low our scores were in like the start of the video. We've definitely learned a few metas like the extremely foggy road, like the river valleys and the 2 areas it can be in. So I'm glad with that, and that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video of me learning 1 hour of Turkey region guessing in Geoguessr. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments. I'll also have all 3 maps linked in the description if you want to try them out yourself. Thank you so much again for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to French Vanilla, and have a great day!